Yo, what up, everybody? All right, hang on. I got to get my volume right here because getting a little mad echo. Boom, boom. Welcome to
There
Wine
we
Talk
go.
with Tesh. There we go. We're live on all platforms. Sweet. That was the fastest we've ever gotten live on all platforms in like the last like 2 months. So thanks for coming prepared, Seva. Appreciate it,
I
man.
was ready to go.
Everybody, welcome to Wine Talk with Tesh. I am excited because we are in Australia this month, and we're drinking some beautiful wines. And of course, we have Mr. Dave Seva, aka Handsome Dave, the name that needs no explanation. Seva, thanks so much for making time, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be here, man. Thanks for having me. You
Uh,
know what? I want to say, it just occurred to me the first time I was on here, we were talking Australian wines. So you got me back to back on Australia.
were we
Am I
really?
like the Australia guy
I
in
guess
your mind
so.
somehow?
I don't know, man. I didn't plan it that way. I swear. I just happened to taste these and I was like, these are good. And then they were like, oh, oh, you know who showed me these wines? Varno came in and showed me these wines. And and the guy that he was hit, the supplier that he was with, he was like, oh, you can have Siva come on and talk about them with you. And I was like, he knows the wines. And I was like, that's a great idea.
Okay, I'll take it, man.
So
I'll take
they threw you at me, man.
Good to hear.
Um, Uh, can't stay but long, but you are beautiful. All right, cool. I see you, baby. Thank you. Uh, I don't know if that was directed at you, Siva, or me, but we can both take it. Um, Garrison said
What?
he's
What are my Australian preferences?
he's clearly obsessed with your Australian preferences. I don't know.
Do I?
But for those of you guys who are tuning in, first of all, thanks for tuning in. If you didn't get a chance to order the wines and you wanted to participate, if you want the wine still, you can go to winewithtesh.com and order the wines for for future tasting purposes on your own time and on your own schedule. But for those of you who got a Tesh Talk box, we're going to be starting with the Devil's Corner Resolution Pinot Noir. So go ahead and pour yourself a glass, and then Mr. Siva will start talking to us a little bit um, about man.
Tasmania.
I just read, yeah, about Tasmania. I just read Garrison's comment out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, I just got to throw that one up. He prefers things down under and poisonous snakes.
He
Duh,
knows me. He knows
obviously.
me so well.
Man, we got all the OGs over here watching us. Barry's here, Dooley's here, Cheryl's here. What's
That's
up,
just that.
everybody?
That's just the kind of heat you get when you bring me
I,
on, man.
I really think it's you, baby. I really think it's you. um, So I thought I missed. I got a notification on Facebook saying Wine Talk with Tesh was live and vid would be posted shortly. This is live now. This is live now, Aunt Nora. What happened was clearly you guys can all tell from our lovely background and intro music and all that good stuff. Is Jordan was not free. He had some kind of scheduling conflict. He wasn't able to be here tonight. So that was me about 45 minutes ago, testing the waters and making sure that everything was working properly. So yeah, so we're here and you didn't miss it, and we're drinking beautiful wine. So yeah. So Dave, I'm sorry, man. You were supposed to be in Tahoe. What happened with Tahoe? It was just the drive and the weather. Was that what it was?
Well, no. So, I don't know if any. For those of us who are in Sacramento today, probably could figure out why I didn't go to Tahoe today. It was the Calder fire. Pretty much torched the 50 corridor last night and today, and I think it's still going. So I postponed my Tahoe trip.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah,
That
so
makes
I'm
sense.
home. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's not die.
So I hope everybody's okay out there, man. I hope nobody's in danger out there.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's crazy
I'm
times.
glad that it is. I'm glad that you're able to postpone the trip at least and not have to put yourself up that way. So, um, dude, tell us a little bit about Devil's Corner as a company, as a brand. A little bit of history. Can you hit us with some knowledge?
Yeah, man. So Devil's Corner. I mean, I think most importantly to think about, this is probably, I would guess, some people, not everybody. I know there's some. Did I lose Instagram?
I think so.
Yeah. Voila.
I spoke too soon about not having the technical
I
difficulties.
know, I
Holding on,
blew it.
everybody. Technical
Sorry, guys.
difficulties.
Sorry, Instagram. Here we go. Coming back.
Eventually, Instagram just needs to let me send my restream video. The problem is that the formatting of the video is completely different. That's why it works on like Facebook, but then it doesn't work on Instagram. So it
I'm
doesn't
in
let you.
here, man. Do I need to? How do I request to join again?
Here, I'll send you an invite.
Okay.
Boom,
Sorry, guys.
boom. So you should have gotten an
There
invite,
we
and then
go.
just
There
there
we
you
go.
go. There you go. He's
My bad.
back.
My bad. I don't know
It's
what
all
happened.
good.
All right. So yeah, I was saying like Tasmanian. Probably a lot of people have never even tried a Tasmanian wine, much less a Tasmanian Pinot. So think about Australia and where Australia is. I think a lot of us have this concept of Australia being a really warm place, making these really big, jammy Shiraz, Rhone blends, Cabernet, Grange style wines. But if you look at a map and see where Tasmania is, it's a tiny little island off the south coast of Australia, and of course, it's a southern hemisphere. So as you go further south, we're getting further and further from the equator. So Tasmania is actually this very cold wine growing region, very cool. Oh, thank you. Look at that. Down. Yeah, so we're down here sort of on a similar latitude with New Zealand down here. So rather than these big Shiraz, Cabernet, type wines, we're talking here. This is sort of Burgundy country, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, cool climate grapes. We were talking earlier that traditionally these vines were originally most of it went into sparkling wine production, which makes sense because just like champagne, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, right? So now they're starting to move into still wines. They have been for the last couple decades now, and really put their stamp on Pinot Noir. This was probably a little bit of an old fact, but I saw earlier it was like Tasmania is only 1% of Australian wine production or something like that. And only 10% of those wines get exported. So probably not going to see a ton of Tasmanian wine out in the market in normal times. So it's really cool when you get to try something. There's not a lot of this stuff made, and certainly not a lot of it that comes into our market. So Devil's Corner here gets its name from, it's an old reference to the sailors that used to go up this river in Tasmania, and there's this one hairy turn that they had to go through that they named Devil's Corner, and that's right near where these vineyards sit today. So it's literally right up on the coast of the eastern coast of Tasmania. The vines literally lead right up to the sea. So I should have sent you some pictures. It's pretty cool. But yeah, man, just really, really great, cool climate wine. What's interesting here, because it's so cool, harvest time here, it comes like 3 to 4 weeks later than mainland Australia. So because it's so cool, it takes a lot longer to ripe, but a long, slow ripening process, in theory, develops a lot more complexity in flavor. So that's exactly what you're looking for. Man, that's Devil's Corner.
Yeah,
let's try it.
What? Yeah, man, I'm already.
As if I haven't already been trying.
Right? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm already like a glass and a half deep. But what are some? That's great, and it's cool actually. I love once you hear the story about why it's named Devil's Corner, and then you look at the label, it's actually kind of got a beautiful depiction of that sailboat, like right on the label that kind of depicts that. What are some tasting notes that we should, or that we, I don't want to say should, but what are some tasting notes that we would probably notice on this wine?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of like really classic Pinot tasting notes. Some of that like kind of black cherry cola stuff like that. I think I think this does like this wine to me does have a little bit of earthiness as well. So it's like comparing it to like a California, like Central Coast. Like I know you're a big Santa Lucia guy. somewhat similar in style, maybe a little bit leaner than those wines, but I think they bring a little bit more of that like earthy savoriness as well.
For sure. Did anybody out there make the one pot rosemary garlic chicken and fingerling potatoes? Did anybody out there make that? Because I'm curious. Because of my kids, we had to go the easy route tonight. This happens a lot. I'll send out a pairing recommendation, and I want to make it the night of, but it doesn't happen. Seva has kids; he knows what this is about. Sometimes you just got to hit the easy button and be like, "Y'all, this is what's happening for dinner."
Kraft mac and cheese, it is.
Man, chicken dino chicken nuggets one more time. Yeah. So I'm curious if anybody made the chicken and how the Pinot Noir is pairing with that. I would imagine that it is. David said yes. David had it to turn out. I know that Diana said it was a great dish with the Devil's Corner. And then David also said that it's a very rich Pinot Noir. Yeah, man. It's bigger than most, I would say.
Yeah.
But still.
It's definitely got some richness. Yeah. And you'll see, I mean, not that I've tasted a million Tasmanian Pinot Noirs, but there is some range there, like, within, site-specific winemaker choices, all that included. You can have some sort of like leaner, really bright, light Pinots, and then unoaked, and then this is a little bit more serious. Definitely does see some oak aging, a little more concentration.
How much oak does it see?
It's like I tried to look that up, and the text sheets just weren't giving it up, so I don't know exactly.
That's all right. Like more often than not, right? For Pinot Noir, you generally hear like 10 months. It's pretty like
10 months. Probably, it's French oak for sure. Probably 30-40% new is like kind of, would be my guess, but couldn't tell you for sure. I don't want to lie to you.
No, that's okay. Chrissy said she printed it out, had a crazy day, made a baked potato look forward to making one. Oh, I see. Look forward to making it in the future. Dope. No, that's cool.
We got Ashley Berry in here.
I know, man. I'm telling you, all the players.
Instagram's blowing up.
All the players and playettes showed up, man, to show Handsome Dave some love tonight, man. I love it. That makes me feel good. By the way, thank you guys for tuning in, because I like right before we went live, I got a hi Dooley. Right before we went live, I got a text message from somebody who follows me and watches regularly, and they were like, "I'm not gonna put them on blast, Sawyer." They were like, "Oh, we wanted to watch live, but we're going to a tasting with Keith," and I was like, "Damn you, Keith!" But he's doing a blind Riesling tasting at Taylor's Kitchen tonight. And actually, to be honest, that sounded kind of dope. And had I not already planned this, I probably would have been there too. Let's see. Diana said, instead of putting the chicken in the oven as instructed, David put it in the Traeger. So delicious with the Pinot. That is actually a great idea, and that sounds really, really good. Anything in the Traeger, I feel like, is a smart move.
Yep.
So, Seva, is there anything else that you would pair this with? Like, if you were like just creating a menu off the top of your head, what would you throw out there for everyone and be like, yo, you got to try this Pinot Noir with blah?
Oh man, this would to me this would be like something with mushrooms for sure. Pops in instantly in mind, like I mean, to me, even steak with a good like mushroom set, it would be great. Truffle pasta would be good. That would be my lane.
For sure. It's funny, right? After being in the restaurant industry for so long and working with so many of the, like, I don't want to say similar dishes, right? But like, after seeing so many like different pairings or trying so many combinations, they tend to like, I tend to lean the same way all the time, hey, you're having Pinot, have it with some poultry, maybe some mushroom, maybe some truffle, right? Some kind of pasta that's rich and big. So yeah, braised beef, I think, would be a great choice for this Pinot Noir. I think it'd be beautiful with it. Nora said, my new favorite wine is Riesling. Maybe a Riesling Tesh box in the future. Maybe. I have some other stuff planned for September already. So we'll talk about that at the end of the episode. So
I think we wish everybody liked it as much as Nora does, right?
Right. Yeah. She's
right.
It's very. Yeah, she's very. she's very excited about my new favorite wine is Riesling. Maybe a Riesling Tesh box in the future. Just all Riesling.
You hit everybody with 4 Rieslings. They're going to be like, oh man, come on.
Man, be like, come on, bro, man. You want to do something, man? Yeah. What would you pair with eggplant? I'd probably go this route. I'd probably go with the Pinot.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
me.
It's probably it probably has more to do with how the eggplant's prepared. It's not like eggplant's like a super intense flavor that you need to like consider. It's more like what kind of sauce is on it. Is it grilled? Is it,
That's a very good point.
Things.
Yeah, if you're making it like Parmesan style, right? Probably go something Italian, right? Just because it's gonna have that like a richer tomato sauce on it, and cheese and stuff. So yeah, I think Steve was right on that front. My initial thought is just go with like a light red or a like a Spanish white, something that like goes well with veggies.
I bet Riesling would be fantastic. No joke, actually. I mean,
no, it probably would. It probably would, man. Riesling is one of those ones that always like surprises me in like how much range it has in terms of pairing. There was the Ella's fried chicken, right? Which everyone knows that I'm familiar with fried chicken. But what Ella's fried chicken in particular, right? They had that hot sauce with it, and there was one time when I was a manager there, I had the fried chicken, and I was like, they were like, "Hey, man, do you want a little something to sip with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me try the Riesling because I'm just curious how it paired. It paired incredible, man. It was so good." And it was like a slightly off dry, so when you use the hot sauce, it had that sweet and spicy thing playing. Italian food and any wine go together. Yeah, sure. I mean,
I gotta agree with that.
Yeah,
Italian wine is always better with any food. So it's like some Italian wines are tough to drink, just like sitting on the porch and chilling. It's like drinking Barolo or something.
Right. Right. Barolo is hardcore, right?
I mean, the wines are like red wines with like super high acid. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's like you need a little food to tame it down a little bit.
Yeah, nobody's ever like, oh, we're just hanging out, we're just drinking some Brunello.
Right.
But
I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of times, the first time you try a Brunello or a Barolo, it's at some like wine tasting function or something where you're just sitting there drinking wine. And so like a lot of people, like the first time they try some Italian wine or someone brings it to a dinner party or something and everyone's just drinking and you're just like, why do people like this? Especially when you're new to wine and stuff. And it's like,
for sure,
it's like tannic, it's acidic, it's like crazy over the top. And it's like, and you never understand Italian food until it's like on the dinner table while you're getting down, you need like salt and fat to like make it all work.
For sure. That makes me think of Etna, right? Like you think of like Etna and often, right, when we're wine tasting, we're going back to back on wines.
Yep.
And somebody pours like an Etna Rosso, which is it's a region in Sicily for those of you guys who are following along. Region in Sicily where they make Caricante, which is the white varietal, but then they also make Nerello Mescalese. And then what's the other Nerello? I'm blanking right now. There's one other Nerello,
like Cappuccio or something.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
something like that. I might have butchered that, but
no, yeah, I think you got it. But then, so like Nerello Mescalese is the varietal that is, generally speaking, the primary, right, red varietal. So that's a kind of wine where like you can almost kind of like taste the mountain. They said you can almost like taste the volcanic ash. Which is kind of intense, but also really cool. So that's an example of a wine when like you're tasting it by itself. It might not do a whole lot for you, but then you're like, you just have to kind of envision having that wine with the right dish and it's just going to open it up and you'll be like, This is a phenomenal pairing. So yeah, Christy also wanted to know about ratatouille. And I'm curious, Siva, what do you think? That's an interesting question. What would you pair with ratatouille?
I mean, there's eggplant in ratatouille, right? I assume that's
I think so.
I think that's a continuation of the eggplant conversation. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So ratatouille is what? Eggplant, like squash, tomatoes, basil, and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that's like, and also, if you're eating ratatouille, you're also, I mean, it's not like you just have ratatouille for dinner. So it's like you
Right.
gotta.
Yes, generally speaking, it's
There's probably like
right.
a protein on the table too, but let's I would go, let's just stay French and say I drink some Beaujolais with that,
Right.
Cru
Yeah,
Cru
that's
Beaujolais for
Cru
sure.
Beaujolais. Not too light, just a
No
little
man, I
bit.
don't want none of that village. We're going cru.
That's a good call. Um, have I done a box of Sicilian? I don't think I've done a box of Sicilian. No. Next month it'll be kind of twofold. Well, I'll talk about this at the end. I'll tell you about what's coming on next month at the end of the talk. So, cool. Anything else you need to add about the Devil's Corner, Seva? You want to move on?
No man, I mean, unless anybody's got any questions, that's what I got.
Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions in regards to the Devil's Corner Resolution Pinot? And if not, we'll give you guys a minute. I'm going to go ahead and pour myself a glass. For those of you guys who have it, move into the D'Arenberg. All right, this is the Derelict Vineyard Grenache from 2016.
He said derelict.
When I ordered this from Siva, I said, "Hey man, will you send me a few cases of that Derelict my balls?" It's right in front of me. I cannot not say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
All right, so D'Arenberg is a phenomenal producer. They have a wide range. Siva, tell us about D'Arenberg. So I
Yeah,
don't want
man,
to get too
probably,
boring.
really iconic Australian wine producer. Maybe second to Penfolds. Like that's probably like the next name that, over here we think of when you think of Australian wine. So
Barefoot might be
Derenberg,
up there, man.
what's that?
Barefoot might be up there. Oh no,
Yellowtail.
no,
I mean,
Yellowtail.
yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
don't forget
That
Yellowtail. Yeah, for sure.
in terms
Yeah,
of
no,
notable
probably goes
producers,
Yellowtail, then Penfolds.
right? Yeah, but in
Derenberg for
terms of
sure.
notable producers, yeah,
Yeah,
Penfolds
yeah,
and then probably D'Arenberg. I agree.
yeah. So speaking of regions, so we were down at the bottom in Tasmania, tiny little island off the south coast of Australia. Moving up onto the mainland now into a region called McLaren Vale, which actually is also right on the sort of the south, maybe south, not quite the southeast, but southern coast in South Australia. We're going back to the map.
Yeah, I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of where
Yeah.
we're at. So, right here is Melbourne, right? But if you go west just a little bit, you'll see right here inside of the Adelaide region.
Yeah.
There's
So
McLarenville.
right. So McLaren Vale's like right below Adelaide. So
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, right out on that little peninsula right there. Or that's McLaren Vale. D'Arenberg, that's really like where it started for them and still where most of their production is. Really cool producer. Goes way back to the very early 1900s. Current winemaker is like the fourth generation of Osborne's, same name as carried on. His name is Chester Osborne. But very cool. So I mean, if anybody has the bottle in front of them, you look at it, it's got the little family crest there on the top. That's the D'Arenberg family crest, which doesn't go back like to the old world, but it started in there, 1912. It tells me right on the bottle. Help me out. But the great grandfather started it, created this family crest. The red stripe, which is like iconic and like is on all of their bottles. Is some reference to the college he went to in Australia that doesn't really land on me because I don't know anything about Australian colleges. But then you see on the crest, it says Vinum Vita Est, I believe is it's some little Latin phrase at the bottom, which means wine is life, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. So that's like their family crest that goes, they said wine is life, in the early 1900s, which doesn't seem like something that doesn't seem like Australians in 1920s. It seems like something life. We would say now. And I'm imagining this old Australian guy 4 generations ago going, what are we going to write? Wine is life. I'm like, I don't know. I just like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I think I lost you on the gram again, buddy.
Damn it. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
I want people who are on the gram to hear you talk about. I think it's quite funny
I know. All right.
to think
I
of like
try
in
to
the early
send me the
1900s.
link again.
All right, cool. Uh, it's interesting and kind of funny and almost comical to think that like somebody in the early 1900s was like wine is life.
Right. No, totally.
Before you keep
Sorry,
going,
everybody. I'm back.
cool. Before you keep going, Diana said that this one is amazing. The
Yeah.
flavor profile of the chicken with this is outstanding. The Ehrenberg. I like how she said that, like she's in Zoolander. She was like, "So hot right now, the Ehrenberg."
Yeah, super
um,
different wine to move to from the Devil's Corner Pinot too, right?
for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Uh, what were
you
we
were telling
saying?
us a little bit more
Oh,
about the
Derenberg
family.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the region that we're talking about here, McLaren Vale, and that whole kind of South Australia, which is really the main wine growing region of Australia, the most respected. That's, Barossa Valley would maybe be the Napa Valley equivalent of Australia. This is just like a little bit south of that, but that whole kind of strip would be like the California maybe of Australia.
Hmm.
So, and then in the early days, mostly what they were making was fortified wine down there. So they planted all these vineyards. They were making kind of like inexpensive, kind of cheap fortified wine that could travel around, that you could beat it up, and out in the outback out there, you could take a bottle of wine across out into Crocodile Dundee territory. But the cool thing is, so what that actually means is these vineyards were planted a really, really long time ago. And if you see photos of it, a lot of the stuff we're talking about, it's like if you drive out into Lodi, which people, want to dog on Lodi, but go, like, some of those vineyards are incredibly old. You see what's called these old bush trained vines, So it's like if you see that bottle of Old Vine Zin, they always have that picture of like this gnarly vine with long roots and all that. So these, a lot of these vineyards were planted super long time ago. This particular vineyard, the Derelict Vineyard, is exactly that. It's these old bush trained vines that are, 100 or more years old, on their own roots, pre-phylloxera, all this stuff. And what that means is they create these, the yields off these plants are really low. So this vine that has roots that go forever really doesn't even make that much fruit, but that fruit that it makes is very concentrated. So I hope everybody's tasting it and you're getting like that just kind of intensity of fruit when you taste this wine.
Intense is a good way to describe this wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What that's dope, man, and it's cool that they've been around for so long and they've maintained their vines in order for us to be able to still enjoy grapes coming off these incredibly old vines, right?
Yeah.
What are some tasting notes that people would probably notice on this wine?
Definitely, I'm sure everyone's noticing right out the gate, like kind of darker fruit profile, where it was like the Pinot was a little bit more, red cherry, raspberry. To me, here we're getting a lot more. A lot more like kind of plum, like, black plum, blueberry, even like almost sort of like a blueberry jam thing.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say plum and violets.
totally, I think that's great. Yeah, and part of it's, the condition of the fruit is like so much riper, right, than
Right.
the Pinot. And it's worth mentioning this is
16.
2016, right? So you also have some bottle age on this, so the wine's actually starting to develop into some secondary, even tertiary, flavor notes. Or the fruits become a little bit more raisinated, a little bit more cooked, and it's developing some like kind of leathery notes even as well, that I think are really nice. And part of that's just bottle age.
Yeah, I agree. Um, both of these are fun and different examples of wines that are outside of the box of what you would probably even consider grabbing off of a shelf somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, First of all, I think finding any kind of Tasmanian wine, period, you'd be a little hard pressed to find something like that
yeah,
at all. So I mean, Siva and I were talking before we came on live, and I was telling him I've never had a Tasmanian sparkling. I've had Tasmanian Chardonnay, Tasmanian Pinot, never had Tasmanian sparkling. Um, but so that's an incredible example. And then this is, uh, I think Derenberg is not only a notable producer that's worth your time. Um, I think that they absolutely nailed this wine, and it's kind of dope that we were able to go back a vintage or two to be able to taste the 16. And
Totally.
it also speaks a load of it's a testament to the notion that cap screw wines are not ageable, but this is aging beautifully. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
far, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
doing incredibly well. So we got to start looking at um, these enclosures a little bit differently, I think, than maybe what we're trained to look at.
Couldn't agree more.
So I know Diana said that this one was amazing with the dish. Not sure how dumb this question may be. No, let's get into some questions. This is good. So hit us
Yeah.
with some more questions, whatever questions you have. Um, so she said, I'm wondering if you're able to taste what Handsome Dave is describing without having the chicken dish. I missed some. I missed some commas. She actually said I missed some comas, which I'm really glad to hear. I'm glad that you were missing the comas, but I know what you mean. You're missing some commas. That's okay.
And she called me Handsome Rob.
You know, I was trying to ignore it, man. Everybody's been drinking, but she did. She called you Handsome Rob.
She got the most important word right. So
she called you Handsome Rob.
It's better than calling me Ugly Dave.
Right? If you're able to taste what Handsome Dave is describing without having the chicken dish, yeah, I do think that you're able to taste it.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I think that you're able to taste it. I think that when you're having the chicken dish, those he mentioned tertiary notes, right, which are like the secondary notes or developing notes of the wine. Those things.
Sure, there's a few of my friends out there that laughed because I said that word, and I realized I was like, you can't just throw out tertiary.
No.
Right?
It's like you know, when people start talking about like pyrazines and stuff, it's like, man, just tell.
I apologize. The minute I said it, I was like, why did I use that? Why did I just drop that word in this discussion?
There's room for those terms, right? There really is. It's just a matter of educating everyone to get up on that level.
Sure.
So like if you said that around me, like I know exactly what you're talking about, but you know, most consumers don't necessarily know what that means. So, yes, going back to answering your question, I think that those quote unquote secondary notes, tertiary notes, I think that they really get highlighted with the herbal element that comes like it's rosemary, garlic, right? That rosemary really is going to highlight those tertiary notes that are found in this wine. But are they there and present without the dish? Absolutely. It's just going to hit on a whole different level if you actually made the pairing. So, and that's what's so much fun about pairing. You know, I try and be very intentional, and I try and put a lot of thought into what I'm recommending. Oh wait, hold on, what happened? Sorry, did you lose me on the computer this time? Oh, your laptop died? Yeah. All right, that's all right. Alicia asked. Props for being getting this correct. I've been blowing it ever since. Oh man, it's all good, dude. My cousin asked, or she said, these are both great. Do you plan on carrying these regularly? I do have a few bottles of the Devil's Corner Pinot Noir in stock, and then I want to say like 8 to 10 bottles in stock of the 8 to 10 bottles in stock of the Derelict Grenache. The agave syrup in the recipe is key to bringing out the sweeter elements in both wines. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. I saw that ingredient and I was like, you know what? I'm I'm not gonna alter that or change that because I didn't want it to be anything other than what the dish required. So I'm getting feedback a little bit. There we go. All right, cool.
That was me.
Oh, okay. Um, I want to lick my plate and drink these wines. Diana, you're drunk, man. She said, "I want to lick my plate. Drink these wines." uh, and I mean, we know what you meant. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, these are dope wines, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying them. And yeah. All right. So if there are no more questions, or if you have any questions about Dierenberg, hit us with those now. And I'm going
I
to
will say
start
one
talking
more
on.
thing. Check out, like, Google this. Like, they're one thing they are also famous for. These dudes are wild. I mean, they're super kind of hippie winemakers. Everything's organic and biodynamic, certified even. But they're also like big art collectors. One of their vineyards, and I'm not sure which one it is. I've seen it before, but it has this like massive, like contemporary, like Rubik's cube, like looking building, which is like an art sculpture
Oh,
building. Have you seen this?
no. Somebody was telling me about this earlier today. They were like, oh, I talked about how I was doing Dierenberg, and they were like, oh, I know Chester. And I was like, who the
That's
f-
it.
is
Yeah,
Chester? But then he told me
Chester
about.
Osborne. Yeah.
Yeah, he told me about the the Rubik's cube building, and I was
Yep.
like, what? So
Yep.
go ahead, tell us about it, man. I just
Well,
got
I mean,
excited. I'm sorry.
they just built it as this, big like attraction. I mean, they're like art collectors, like, they're rich wine people at this point. Let's be real. So
Right.
they got some money to throw around. So they built. I think it was something like, I think they paid like $20 million or something to build this sculpture, which is also
Ooh.
actually, I think, a building as well. But inside they have a bunch of like Salvador Dali paintings and stuff. It's like an art museum slash. It's wild, man. So it's like there's the world of like big wine money, So, but it looks dope. It's pretty cool. So it's like you see this photo, and it's like the middle of these, really cool vineyards. And then there's a super modern looking reflective Rubik's cube in the middle of it. It's pretty dope.
That's dope. I kind of want to look it up and just show you real quick. The
Yeah.
Ehrenberg cube. Oh, look, it just pops right up. The Ehrenberg cube. Um, dude, this building's fucking insane.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share my screen and just share with you guys what I found here, just because I think it's super super cool and very very unique. So, um, Australia is one of those places where I'm kind of like mildly terrified of, just because of spiders, and I'm just that bugs me. But dude, like seeing this building made me kind of be like, oh,
Yeah.
I would go there just check this out, dude. This building is insane.
Side note, if my wife is still watching, my wife just recently, my daughter came home from a kid's birthday party with a gift bag, and it had a Rubik's Cube inside. My wife sat there, started playing with it, and just like decided, sitting there, she's like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Literally, like, got on YouTube, and then like within like, in that day, like, she was working on it. Now she can just like solve a Rubik's Cube.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never even gotten past one, like two sides, maybe.
Right. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already know she's smart, but what a great testament to how smart she actually is,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like
know.
that's
It's a great trick. Now she can solve a Rubik's Cube.
dope. The only trick that I have that's cool like that is when I remember one time. This is when I like early in my drinking, even at that. I had really kind of gotten into wine at that time, and I walked into I don't remember where I met my friends, but we walked in and she was like, "Here, have a sip of what I'm drinking," and I was like, "Okay," and I smelled it was wine. I smelled it and I was like, "Oh, you're drinking Cab?" And she was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I just handed it back real smooth. Like I was like, yeah, I got that one right. Oh, thank God. Thank God I got that right. I would have looked so stupid. All All right, cool. So, Siva, thank you so much, man, for making time. I know you have the kids and your family that you need to tend to. So, thank you for making time and for being on and talking to us about both of these wines. They're beautiful. Um, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Oh, cool, man. It's always fun. I'm glad to be here. We're always down to come back again. And yeah, if you guys want this wine in stock, buy it.
Yeah, buy it. Shit. I put the link over here in the chat on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're on Instagram, go through my photos or go to my bio and click the link in bio, and it'll pull up a bunch of the photos, and you can find actually the very most recent photo. Click on that, and it'll take you right to the website where you can find the links to purchase both of these wines. So, if you guys are interested, to go ahead and do that. So now, time for gearing up for the next wine talk with Tesh. Okay, Diana, buy me out then. I mean, don't just talk about it, be about it. The next wine talk with Tesh, Siva, I'm losing you on Instagram, but that's okay.
I'm just gonna write it out.
Just write it out, man. Just write it out. The next wine talk with Tesh will not be in 2 weeks. And this is just a timing thing because I don't want it to like fall back on like the next, if I did it in 2 weeks, would be on September 1st. So I'm doing it. I'm postponing it for an extra week. It will be back on September 8th. What is going to be in that box? You guys are gonna have to wait it out and find out because I have some treats in there that I want to share with you. But I'm getting the wines in this week, and I want to share the photos with you because the wines are going to surprise you a little bit, I think. But also, the wines are just fucking fantastic. So there's one that I tasted almost like a month and a half ago that we're bringing in finally for this next round. And then another one I just tasted today, and I was like, I have to change my plans. Yeah, everybody has to drink this. So I'll post that within the next couple days as the wine comes in and I get the photos handled. And I'll share that with you guys on social media, and I'll also send out an email blast. The only other thing that I have is that I just wanted to say thank you guys always for your support, for buying wine, and for being a part of it. I appreciate the hell out of you, and I appreciate your support. Thanks for helping me feed my kids. Real talk. All right, guys. We'll see you all again in about 3 weeks. Until then, if you need anything wine-wise, hit me up. Send me a message. Let me know what you need, and I'll do my best to make sure I take care of you guys. All right? All right, Siva. Thanks again, man. Talk to you later.